I attempted to Hardcore Nuzlocke Pokemon Violet using only Grass-type Pokemon. The Paldea region is home to a lot of cool and strong Grass-type encounters. However, the early to mid game can be pretty unfair to our green little friends, with major obstacles like Katie or the Titan Bombardier, and most of all, these two and their cars. The rules I'm using are now listed on the screen and in the description down below. As you may guess, this is not my first attempt. Here's a quick summary on how the others went. After remembering how to use Lex, we meet Director Clavel, our rival Nemona, and we can finally choose our starter. I pick the grass type Sprigatito, name him Elgato, and then we face off against Nemona on the beach. But Elgato makes quick work of Quaxley. In Pocopath, I catch a Hoppip and name her Poppy. What's your steps? I'm not a child.
Bruh.
I give a sandwich to the Robo Lizard stranded on the beach, watch it transform, and then follow it into a dark cave. Maybe I am a child. In the cavern, Miraidon saves us from a bunch of Houndoms, at the cost of its newfound power. And then we meet Arven. He challenges us to a battle, but his Quovet easily goes down under the might of Elgato's attacks. On the road to Mesagoza, I catch a Sunkern and name her Girasol, battle this little pervert, and then fight Nemona at the gates of the city. However, neither her Quaxley nor the terrestrialized Palmy pose a threat to Elgato. In Mesagoza, we save the daughter of Ball Guy from Team Star, and now we can finally go to school. Hey dudes, my name's Duck, and I'm a grass specialist. Subscribe! We're now introduced to the three storylines of the game: Victory Road, Starfall Street, and the Path of the Sandwich. Our first stop is Cortondo, and on the way there, I catch a Capsakid in West Province Area 1, which I name Habanero, and a Smoliv not far from Cortondo, and name him Martini. Apparently, we are pretty good at kicking food, so we're allowed to face the Bug-type gym leader, Katie. I lead with Poppy, and Katie with Nimble. Sleep Powder connects, so Poppy is able to take out the Grasshopper with Chew Aerial Ace. It takes Chew more to KO Tarantula, and in comes Katie's Ace, Teddiursa. I have to stay in with Poppy, since she is the only one who can withstand a Fury Cutter and deal significant damage to Teddiursa. Aerial Ace does almost health, and Poppy survives a Fury Cutter. Another Aerial Ace brings Teddiursa in the red, but sadly Poppy falls to a second Fury Cutter. Her sacrifice, though, allows Elgato to come in and finish Teddiursa with a quick attack, earning us the first badge. As an additional reward, Elgato evolves into Floragato. Our next objective is Cloth, the Stony Cliff Titan. But first, I catch Hongo the Shroomish in South Province Area 5 and Skiddo in South Province Area 3. I try to name him Chupacabra, but I guess Nintendo finds South American folklore offensive or something. So I call him the GOAT!
Squidward!
Cloth is a rock type, so a couple of attacks are enough to end the first phase. We follow it down the cliff and... Wait! You first have to Whatever. The second phase, although a little longer, goes just like the first one. Before going to Artazon, I make a quick visit to Levincia in order to get a Firestone and evolve a Banero. Also, while I'm there, I catch a Terra Ice Toadskull in a den in East Province Area 2, and name him Tentacooler. We're finally ready to face the second gym leader, Bressius. Ugh, I don't wanna become like you. Upon evolution, Scovinnine learns Flamethrower, so she's able to burn every one of Bressius' Pokemon into a crisp, gaining us an easy second badge. Next in line is Bombardier, the Open Sky Titan. This guy can be a pain, and In all of my attempts, I ended up losing multiple friends to this dumb Stork. I lead with Hongo, hoping to at least Leech Seed the Titan, and luckily, he lets us do that by missing a Rock Throw. I decide to stay in and try to use Poison Powder. Bombardier misses again, but so does Hongo. I try again, but the Titan one-shots Shroomish with a Wing Attack. However, Hongo's ability activates and poisons Bombardier anyway. Habanero comes in and uses Protect. A Wing Attack will one-shot, so I have to suck Girasol in order to stall this fight out. Rock Throw connects and one-shots, but Bombardier is now at a low enough health to succumb next turn to Leech Seed and poison damage. Since Hongo is dead, Tentacooler is our lead in the second phase. I stupidly Terastalize to tank a potential Wing Attack and use Stun Spore. The Titan luckily misses a Rock Throw and Stun Spore is able to do its job. I risk sending in Habanero, and the Titan decides to focus Knuckly, which, by the way, is carrying us. Thanks, Arven. Habanero now just has to protect one turn and finish the bird with a Flamethrower in the next. Thanks to our efforts, Precious Mabostiff regains its eyesight, so we can now proceed into our adventure with a lighter heart. Before going to pay a visit to Team Star, I catch a Bramblin in the Azado Desert, Clint, and an Applin in Tag Tree that I name Pastel. They are too high a level, so they're going in the box right now. Giacomo opens up the Densis with Poniard, but a Flamethrower melts it down. The car enters the battlefield, so the real fight begins. Wicked Torque does a third, but Flamethrower halves Rev of Room HP bar in 2 hits. Habanero gets hit by a metal sound, so I send in the Goat. Skiddo chips away at Rev of Room with Brick Break as long as it can, and before it can go down, I switch in Elgato. The car does massive damage, but Elgato hangs on, and an Overgrowth boosted Seed Bomb dismantles the car once and for all. Levincia is our next stop, but first I catch a new friend in East Province Area 1, a Deerling. In Levincia's gym, we meet Nemona again, and she challenges us, but Habanero destroys first Rockruff, then Pommy, and last Quaxwell. After a quick game of Where's Clavel, we can battle against Gym Leader Iono. At this point, I've done this fight enough times to go in without any worries. Elgato is holding a rare bone, so Fling power is now equal to 100. It's a range, but it's fine either way. Watcherel survives and hits with a strong pluck, but Elgato finishes his foe off the following turn with a U-turn. Deerling comes in and Luxio follows. I use Sand Attack 4 times, permanently blinding Luxio, and then the Goat comes in. Poor Luxio misses 2 times and Skiddo uses Leech Seed. I switch in Elgato, and now he's able to set up Hornclaws with relative ease. Luxio eventually goes down, and Iono's next Pokemon is Badlybolt, but a Terra boosted Seed Bomb one-shots it. Mismagius can be a pain, and in fact, it uses Confuse Ray. Of course, Elgato hits himself in confusion, dealing massive damage, so this fight now becomes a war of attrition. I keep switching in Tentacooler on Charge Beam and Martini on Hex, in order to drain Mismagius power points for Hex and Confuse Ray. Once I'm done, I send in the Goat to use Worry Seed and get rid of the Levitate ability, but I miscounted, so poor Skiddo has to endure first a Charge Beam and then a Hex before it can actually touch his foe. Now Mismagius can only use Charge Beam, so Tentacooler can come in and spit mud in its face until it falls. And just like that, the third gym badge is ours. In preparation for the fight against Mela, I evolve Pastel into Appletoon, teach him Stomping Tantrum, and Rain Dance with the TM that you can find in the Azado Desert. Also, Martini evolves into Dolive. We are now ready to face Mela. Probably. Pastel is faster than Torkoal, and he uses Rain Dance, resulting in a weak Flame Wheel. Pastel misses with Leech Seed, so Torkoal hits us with a Clear Smog. This time Leech Seed connects, Clear Smog doesn't crit, and now I can proceed to stall out this turtle while keeping up the rain. Torkoal eventually goes down to a Stomping Tantrum, and in comes the stupid car. Blazing Torque does little damage, but the rain stops and Pastel gets hit by a Screech before he can set it up again. I really want to send attack Rev of Room, so I send in Deerling, that tanks 2 blows, and uses Sand Attack before succumbing to burn damage. Tentacooler takes our place and uses Mudslap to lower the car's accuracy even more. I then send in Pastel to tank a Blazing Torque and use Rain Dance again, but Appletoon gets burned in the process. Since the Starmobile's accuracy is pretty low right now, Mila starts using Swift more often, and that, combined with some lucky misses here and there, lets us damage the car in relative peace. Revavroom hits us with Screech, so I'm forced to send in the Goat. Of course, Blazing Torque connects and brings Skiddo to half health. We manage to hit 2 Bulldoze, but the rain stops and so does our luck, and a Blazing Torque finishes the Goat off. Habanero is next since he can tank a Blazing Torque. Screech hits and Flamethrower does too, but it's not enough. The very next turn, the car hits again, but Habanero hangs on 13 HP and destroys Revavroom with a final attack. We stumble again on the path of the sandwich and... Onyx? What did they do to you, buddy? Actually, I like him more now. Earthworm fighting skills are even less intimidating than its looks, and Pastel is able to handle it with Leech Seed and a couple of Apple Acid. The second fight is just as easy as the first, especially with Arven's Pokemon acting as Meat Shield, so Leech Seed slowly drains every last drop of Mecha Onyx's health. After that, Tentacooler evolves into this magnificent fungus. So we're now ready for the 4th gym. Kafu specializes in water types, so this fight is a breeze. Tentacooler deals with Veluza, and Delgato with Wugtiro and Crabominable. Why am I hitting this dude? No! No! Before facing Eticus, I catch a Snover in Glaciado Mountains and a fungus near Medali that I call
Sussy Baka.
but I was pooping, so it's not recorded. Also, after a lot of time, I find a Terra Dragon Bonsweet and name her Cebolleta. It's time to face Eticus and his stupid fart face. At this point, I've got this fight coming out of my ears. I live and brave this fucking fight, so I know we can win if we get a little lucky. I lead with Pastel and Eticus with Skuntank. He uses Toxic, but a berry heals Appletoon that is then able to hit with a Leech Seed. Now the stall game begins. Luckily Skuntank just spams Sucker Punch when Sasibaka is in. I make sure to have Pastel out on Skuntank's last turn, so that, after tanking a Sludge Wave, he can cover Mach with his Seeds. After some stalling, Tentacooler comes in. I make a dumb mistake and use Mud Slap, which doesn't KO, but luckily Mach misses, and Tentacooler can finish it. Normal Revavroom goes down to a single Soft Sand boosted Mud Shot. But now it's time for bullshit Revavroom. Eticus gets a lucky crit and a Mud Slap lowers the car's accuracy. I risk staying in, hoping to get a miss, but Noxious Torque squishes Tentacooler to a pulp. I send in my secret weapon, Cebolleta. I Terrastalize immediately into a Dragon type, to be able to better withstand the Starmobile's blows. Noxious Torque does big damage, but, with a little help from the leftovers, Cebolleta is able to land 4-play Ice, successfully lowering the car's attack to the ground, before leaving this world. Pastel comes in, and, thanks to a clutch miss, he's able to lower Revavroom's health below 50% with 3 Stomping Tantrums. But, sadly, he too passes. Thanks pal, I'll see you again in Pie Heaven. Habanero is next. The Toxic Spikes poison him, and Noxious Torque does a third. However, Zen Headbutt deals massive damage. The following turn, the Starmobile doesn't crit, so another Zen Headbutt leaves the car with a sliver. After that, I send in Sasibaka, that, after tanking 2 weak Noxious Torque, is able to clean this mess with a Giga Drain, dismantling once and for all the Navy squad. We come out of this fight decimated, but the game becomes significantly easier right now. For the fight against Giga Chad Larry, we'll need 2 additions to the team. A Rotom that I find near the lighthouse in West Province Area 2, and a Leafeon evolved from an Eevee caught near the Pokemon League. Also, Elgato finally becomes his final form, a Meowscarada, and Martini evolves into Arboliva. If you're not careful, Larry can be a tricky opponent. In fact, I whited out to him the only other time I got past Eticus, but at least now I know what to expect. I lead with Habanero against his Komala. Flamethrower does health, and Komala uses Yawn, but Insomnia renders it useless. However, Komala manages to damage Habanero with a Sucker Punch before getting destroyed. The Dunsparce is Larry's next choice. I switch to Teabag, and the effects of Glare are neutralized by a Cherry Berry. Then, I proceed to lower the Dunsparce's attack with Baby Doll Eyes for several turns. Arboliva takes Teabag's place, Hyper Drill does nothing, and the next turn, a Cherry Berry cures Martini from the paralysis. A couple of energy ball are enough to KO the Dunsparce, so Larry sends out his ace, Staraptor. Luz comes in and tanks an aerial ace pretty well. I'm confident he's gonna use Facade, and unless it crits, Elgato should be able to survive one. I switch him in, and Facade doesn't crit, leaving Meowscarada with a third. Elgato is faster than Staraptor, and between all the proteins I gave him, the Miracle Seed, and the Terastallization, Flower Trick is enough to KO Staraptor, earning us the 5th gym badge. We don't even have time to catch our breath, that Nemona and Octopus Lady force us into a Pokemon battle. Unfortunately for Nemona, now that I have a Leafeon, every fight with her can be trivialized. I just need to lower Lycanroc's attack enough so that he's not a threat to Elgato, and 4 Honklows later, our starter can one-shot every Pokemon in Nemona's team. Our next stop is Montenevera, home of the Ghost-type gym. Of course I'm here for a rep battle.
You're a poopy head.
I immediately Terastallize T-Bag into a normal type, ensuring the boost from the crowd, and use Baby Doll Eyes on Mimikyu, while Elgato one-shots Banette with a Night Slash, and Mimikyu hits with a Weak Slash. Now I keep using Baby Doll Eyes on Mimikyu, while Elgato one-shots first Houndstone and then Toxicity. In the end, Mimikyu goes down too, and we earn our 6th gym badge. We are back on the path of the sandwich. This time, our opponent is Iron Threads, the Quaking Earth Titan. It gives us a scare with Iron Head, but it goes down after a couple of blows. The second stage is even easier, and the Titan quickly succumbs to the combined effort of Arven's Scovillain and Martini. In Alfonarda, Stalker Nemona challenges us again, but after setting up 2 Honklows in Lycanroc space, Elgato deletes her team from the face of Paldea. You know what? Forget Ethicus. The hardest thing in this game is getting through this disgrace of a gym test. The fight against Gym Leader Tulip goes just like the one with Nemona. Farigiraf can't do much against Meowscarada, and after 3 Honklows, just for good measure, Elgato one-shots every Pokemon that Tulip sends against us. Only 1 badge left. Grusha, the Ice-type gym leader, is the only real roadblock left, but I have a pretty good plan. Habanero is able to KO Frostmoth with a flamethrower. Beartic survives a Fire Fang and retaliates with a powerful Icicle Crash, but goes down after a Fire Fang the very next turn. Grisha sends out his Attack Titan, and I switch in Abomasnow. Setitan hits him with 2 Ice Spinner, but Abomasnow tanks them and uses Aurora Veil. I send in T-Bag. Between the Aurora Veil and the Yachi Berry, Ice Spinner does pitiful damage. Leafeon Terastallizes into a normal type in order to better endure an Ice Spinner, and uses Swords Dance 2 times. The preparations are now complete, so I can use Batompest to switch in Elgato. He's holding a Yachi Berry, so Ice Spinner does little damage, and from here on, Elgato can one-shot both Setitan and Altaria with a Night Slash, earning us the last gym badge. Next on our list is Ortega, the boss of Team Star's Fairy Squad, and for the first time, Team Star is not much of a pain. I lead with T-Bag and use Baby Doll Eyes. Azumarill uses Bounce, so I take it as an opportunity to use 1 Swords Dance. Bounce does a third, and on top of that, paralyzes T-Bag. But Baby Doll Eyes is a priority move, so T-Bag can hit Azumarill before it uses Bounce, and Swords Dance while the enchanted Sewer Rat is in the sky. Thanks to Batompest, Elgato comes in, Terastallizes, and KOs Azumarill, Wigglytuff, and Dachsban with Flower Trick. The dumb machine survives one, but becomes a pile of junk with a final blow. Whoa! Sushi! The typical Spanish dish! Martini quickly deals with both the Dondozo fights, and now we have to face the real Titan, Tatsugiri. He proves to be a tougher opponent, but he too eventually goes down to Martini's attacks. Now that Mabosstiff is finally okay, we can go deal with Eri. Martini endures a poison jab from Toxicroak and then uses Leech Seed. Enters Sasibaka. He tanks 2 poison jabs pretty well and then uses Spore. I then send in T-Bag and use Swords Dance 2 times before Toxicroak wakes up and hits a weakened poison jab thanks to a Cavia Berry. With a Batompest, Elgato comes in, and he too takes pretty well a poison jab thanks to the Cavia Berry. I then Terastallize to get rid of the fighting weakness. and proceed to obliterate everyone, car included, with acrobatics. Air is defeated, but Team Star will still be standing until we defeat their secret boss, Cassiopeia. But first we go face the Pokemon League. While going there, I noticed that I didn't name Abomasnow, so I call him Whoops. My friends are now chock full of vitamins and ready to flex on the Elite Four. Rika's first, he leads with Whiscash, and I with Sasibaka. He uses Future Sight before going to sleep thanks to Spore. I send in Leafeon, Terastalize because of a potential Blizzard, and then use Swords Dance. Future Sight does a lot, but next turn, T-Bag takes down his opponent with a Leaf Blade. Rika sends in Camerupt, but a Dig is enough to one-shot. Donphan has Sturdy, so I need to survive an attack. Luckily, T-Bag tanks Earthquake, and is able to Baton Pass into Elgato. Earthquake does a third, but now Elgato is able to deal with every Pokemon on Rika's team with Flower Trick. Before the Poppy fight, I teach T-Bag Charm, since I would hit first anyway, and then challenge the Elite Four. T-Bag lowers Copperage's attack to the point where he deals almost nothing, and then sets up 2 Swords Dance before swapping in with Habanero thanks to Baton Pass. She's holding a Choice Scarf, so after enduring the damage from Stealth Rock and a weak Heavy Slam, he's able to one-shot Poppy's entire team with Fire Fang. Larry proves to be even easier. Whoops is now holding the Choice Scarf, and thanks to that and all the combos I gave him, he outspeeds and freezes to death every bear that Larry sends against us with Blizzard. I thought that the battle with Astral would go exactly the same way, but while Whoops outspeeds and one-shots Noivern, Dragalge hangs on and hits a super strong Sludge Bomb. Another Blizzard takes it out, but now I won't have 100% accuracy for Baxcalibur. Axorus and Flapple go down to a Blizzard, and in comes Hessel's Haze. Whoops uses Blizzard, but misses, and ends up falling to a Glaive Rush. Thankfully, I was paranoid enough to teach Elgato to play rough, so he can come in and avenge his fallen comrade. Losing Whoops is not ideal, but my strategy for Gita doesn't really require him. Champions Gita's lead, Espathra, can be a tough one, even if it wouldn't get anything by copying my potential attack boost thanks to its ability Opportunist. Its moveset can put my team in a tight spot. That said, I have a trick up my sleeve. I lead with Lose, and Gita with Espathra. I then use Trick, locking Espathra into Lumina Crash thanks to the Choice Scarf. Elgato comes in and, thanks to his immunity to Psychic type, he's able to use Honkloss as much as he likes, and then easily one-shots everyone on Gita's team. Now that we are the real champions, Nemona wants to fight us at full power, but we have other businesses to attend right now. Cassiopeia is waiting for us at the school, and what? Clive is Director Clavel? What? He's Cassiopeia? I use the Gira strategy for Clivesiopia too. Trick locks Sora and Guru into Reflect, leaving T-Bag to peacefully set up 3 Swords Dance. As usual, I Baton Pass into Elgato, and he sweeps the floor with the Director's team. To no one's surprise, Cassiopeia is actually Penny. She leads with Umbreon, and I with Sasibaka. After a Spore on Umbreon, T-Bag comes in and sets up only 1 Swords Dance before Umbreon wakes up. Leaf Blade is not enough, so a hard Dark Pulse brings us in the yellow. Another Leaf Blade KOs, and Flareon takes Umbreon's place. Thanks to a hasty mint, Leafeon is faster, and a Dig demolishes Flareon. Penny's Leafeon comes in. I'm forced to use Baton Pass and send in Habanero. 2x Scissors do a lot of damage, but Habanero tanks them like a champ and retaliates with a Fire Fang, one-shotting Leafeon. Cassiopeia sends in Vaporeon, Elgato takes Habanero's place, Hydro Pump does little damage, and the Flower Trick deletes Vaporeon. Enters Jolteon. I send in Lose, and Pin Missile hits 2 times. Jolteon is faster than Lose, so he's able to hit a pathetic Thunder before almost going down to a Leaf Storm. Next turn, another Thunder does nothing, and next finishes the job. Sylveon is her last Pokemon, so I send in Sasibaka. A Terra boosted Moonblast brings Among Us to almost health, and a Baby Doll Eyes later, Sylveon goes to sleep thanks to Spore. Sludge Bomb does almost a third, but Sylveon wakes up and hits another strong Moonblast. Thankfully, another Sludge Bomb poisons it, so I can send in Martini. Moonblast does a health to Arboliva, but Penny next turn uses Baby Doll Eyes, so Martini is able to finish the fight with an Energy Ball. Team Star is officially disbanded for about 20 seconds, until Clavel reinstitutes it. We now go at the lighthouse where we first met Arven. And how did I beat him, you ask?
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Nemona is waiting for us in Mesagoza Square, but the fight goes exactly as all the others. Leafeon sets up, and Meowscarada deletes everyone from existence. Area 0 now unlocks. Thanks to some careful falling, you can obtain the TM for Nasty Plot without Miraidon, so I teach it to lose. After dealing with some future Pokemon, we're finally at the last battle of the game, AI Turo. I lead with Sasibaka and Turo with Iromoth. Amongus is holding a Noka Berry, but Iromoth surprisingly uses Air Slash, dealing big damage. Sasibaka thankfully doesn't flinch, so he can hit Spore. I then send in Luz, Terastalize, and use Nasty Plot while Iromoth thankfully stays asleep. Thunderbolt is enough to KO, so Turo sends in Iron Thorns. Leaf Storm hits and one-shots. Thunderbolt does the same to Iron Jugglis, and in comes Iron Hands. The big guy here uses Fake Out, and then survives a Leaf Storm. The White Herb nullifies the attack drop, but Iron Hands eats Luz with a Drain Punch, dealing massive damage. Another Leaf Storm is enough to KO, so now it's Iron Bundle's turn. This thing, just like Iron Valiant, is faster than Luz, but the greatest AI in the world decides to use Snowscape, so Rotom can one-shot with a Thunderbolt. Iron Valiant is Turo's last Pokemon. Thanks to Quark Drive, this Pokemon gets an attack boost, immediately becoming a threat. Luz goes down to a Break, and I'm in a pinch now. So I send in T-Bag. He's bulky, so as long as Iron Valiant doesn't crit, he should be able to survive even a super effective Poison Jab. He actually does, and Dig does a bit of damage. Sasibaka takes T-Bag's place in order to tank another Poison Jab, and he just barely hangs on. Iron Valiant should now go for Psycho Cut, so I send in Elgato. Turo indeed uses Psycho Cut, so Elgato is able to shatter the future Pokemon and Turo's dream with a final acrobatic. This ordeal is finally over. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.